Welcome to episode 20 of Northwynd, the Druid True First Life series. Here I am in the Inspired Quarter because in this episode I'm going to be doing Elite Mindsunder. I want to show you that this quest has two different entrances in case you weren't aware. There's the one right here down below where I am, and then there's this one over here. It's like the back entrance. It's the front door, and this is like dropping down from the ceiling in a side room. And this is the entrance I like to use. Because you go in the front door, you just aggro a bunch of mobs right away. Alright, epic levels. Here I am. Gonna bring up the enhancements for a moment. Just to show you that I have everything exactly as I have it posted in my build post. And so I won't even really be talking about enhancements anymore unless I make some changes. You know, I talked about maybe picking up the hit points and spell points instead of the skills. I'll let you know if I do that. I'll bring out the wolf too and just mention his enhancements. I haven't done anything with the armor or collar, as I've said before. He's been relegated to lever pulling and running distraction. So I got wolf evasion 2. And probably the only other thing since the last video would be like hounding yip. And this gives, you know, he'll automatically use these abilities that are down here. But it allows the wolf to use a bluff check, and that's, you know, the wolf gets sneak attack damage when it doesn't have aggro, so that's why I picked that. Okay, goodbye wolf. Up to 66 in the crafting. Again, I'm not actually doing any crafting, I'm just deconstructing stuff. It's 550 items deconstructed. On the spell side, so this is almost exactly as I have it on the build post. There are some minor differences in the build post. I have the two little, you know, splinter bolt and, oh, what's the other one called? So there's splinter bolt. This one does piercing damage, so it's untyped. One of a druid's few untyped damage, and then salt ray. This does force damage, but I've never been impressed with either one of them. I know some people say they like to use. One of them can stun mobs, so if you have heighten, I've heard some people say that they like that, but I just never got into them. I don't know that there's anything else worth mentioning. I don't think I have protection from energy in my build post, but there's nothing else particularly exciting to put there. And this is more useful for me on this True First Lifer. Alright. I think I have, let's see, is that mass lesser? Yeah. So I have two mass regenerative spells. So I have mass regenerate and then mass lesser vigor. And so, you know, one of the things I say on the build post is if you are a healer on Druid, and Druids are very strong healers, that, you know, like mass regenerate, you know, it doesn't throw as big of an oomph as like a mass heal, but a mass heal is really, really slow to cast. So, you know, this thing, a mass regenerate, you're going to get 2 ticks off this, because you get a tick as soon as it goes off, and then you're going to get another tick 2 seconds later. So it's going to tick twice by the time like a mass heal would go off. And who uses mass heal anymore, you know? I mean, that was great for Shroud. I guess it's still good for like Legendary Shroud Power 4. But there's just not a lot of scenarios when the group is staying together. But back when, you know, Shroud was the endgame raid and we're running that every day, all day, you know, mass heal was great for that. But if you ever need, like, if your party is in a group and they ever need a big hit, what you can do is you can throw like a mass regenerate and then mass lesser vigor back to back, and then we'll just give them like a double bump. They can't have both of them on at the same time. I'll show you. But so the mass regenerate stays in place. But if I needed healing, I guess I can't show you because I don't need healing. Unlike traditional heal spells, like for example, if I throw that Cure Serious right there, like it showed the healing, but regenerative spells, vigor spells, they don't show the numbers unless you actually needed healing. But the point is, you can throw back-to-back regenerative spells, vigor and regenerate, and they will get it. So if they need a bigger boost, you can throw them back to back. But the better of the two is the one that's going to stay in the buff bar. They won't both tick, but they'll get the initial tick of the second casting. Okay, enough about healing spells. On the feat side, I have swapped out the extend spell feat, and I picked up spell focused evocation, just like I say on my build post. And spell focused evocation is going to give you access. I've been asked before why I take that, because you have to have that to get access to the spell school specialist, which is going to be another +3 to your DCs. It's a requisite for that. On the skill side, I'll just mention that I have it exactly as I have on my build post, except heal I took only to 22 instead of capped at 23. I took intimidate max, concentration max, spellcraft max, because I just put an extra point in UMD. That's why heal's only at 22. That's what the numbers look like. Alright, Epic Destinies. If you're new to Epic Destinies, and you don't know what this map means, and you don't know how they work, you don't know how twists work, take a look at a video I did a couple months ago. It's called Ginger Spice's Beginner Guide to Epic Destinies and Twists of Fate, and I'll put a link, in the video description and in my write-up, in my journal that I'm doing. And it explains it all, because I remember when I was new, when this first came out. This came out about 3 years after I started playing. And when I had no idea what this map view was supposed to be. I didn't know what this was supposed to communicate to me. In any event, there are the 4 spheres: Arcane, Divine, Martial, and Primal, and then the different destinies in those spheres. And your different classes fall into different of those categories. Like your melees or your martials, your favorite soul, your cleric, and your paladin, your divines, and your wizards, and your bards, and your artificers or arcane sorcerers. And a druid is a primal class, along with ranger and barbarian, for example. And you have to start in a sphere that is related to your class. So druid's a primal. I have to start in a primal destiny, so that means I can choose to start in Primal Avatar, Fury of the Wild, or Sharadi Champion. I chose Sharadi Champion because this was the one that was adjacent to the next sphere. You can see there's this connecting line here. So when I want to jump spheres, I have to go from Sharadi to Legendary Dreadnought. So that's why I chose that. And so I have to take that to level 4 before I can get over to Legendary Dreadnought, and I definitely want to try to work over to Unyielding Sentinel, and I'd also like to work down to Draconic so I can get Energy Burst. I don't know which I'm going to do first. That's not a choice I have to make right now. But I will probably also do a level in Primal. Just one level. Because I'm going to want to pick up Rejuvenation Cocoon, which is some nice cheap healing. That's a cheap twist. I only have one level in Sharadi Champion so far. So how many fate points? You get a fate point for every 3 combined levels that you have of Epic Destinies. So as soon as I get to level 3 of Sharadi, then I'll have 1 fate point. And then once I get to level 4 Sharadi, I'll be able to jump over here. When I have level 4 levels of Sharadi, and when I get 2 levels of Legendary Dreadnought, that's a total of 6, and I'll have 2 fate points. Alright, I'm not going to explain that anymore, but check out my earlier video if you are new and you want a longer tutorial. It's a pretty long video, but it's designed for beginners that know nothing about this stuff. So let's take a look at what I picked. My wisdom is already at an even number, so I didn't bother picking up wisdom. I picked up Stay Frosty, which is a stance that has a 7% chance to deal 3d20 extra cold damage. and it slows movement speed for 10 seconds. I've never picked up Wild Shot before, so I figured since I didn't need the wisdom, I'd give that a try. Since I'm on the true first lifer, I thought this extra damaging thing might be kind of neat, and it's all right. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Healing Spring or Illusion of Well-Being. If you were on a melee toon, those might be more interesting, but since I'm a self-healing toon, not so much. It could still be valuable. It can help save mana, but I just thought I'd give Wild Shot a try. My next plan is to work up towards Fey Form, and then Prism, and then Double Rainbow really is the king. But the thing about Shirati Champion, if you're new to it, is that there's all these things in the innate line, and then the Rainbow, and the Double Rainbow, and the Prism, that all have a chance to proc different, damaging effects. And so, every time you cast a spell, or swing a weapon, or shoot an arrow, or whatever it is, they have a chance to proc. And so, once you get it all maxed out, there's all these different chances to proc, and all these different extra damage types that can proc, and so it really starts to add up. So it's a pretty decent destiny for a caster to be in, or a range toon to be in. Although Arcane Archers like Fury of the Wild, I think better than Shirati anymore. But Wizards and Sorcerer Shirati casters is a very very popular destiny for magic missile spammers. Not a bad destiny for Druid, for a more traditional caster Druid. I don't think there's anything more I need to mention here. Just not a lot going on yet. Alright. Ooh, let's look at the gear. So, I was broke as a joke. Now, back up to almost 2 million plat. Because like I said, once I got down to essentially 0 plat, I had a whole bunch of, I had 2,000 essences. I posted each 1,000 stack for 300,000 plat. I probably could have got more. I don't exactly know the going rate. 250 plat to 300 plat was sort of the old school going rate. It could be more now, because when I'm posting them for 300,000 for 1,000 stack, which is 300 each, they're selling instantly. So probably could get a 500,000 for them, but it's alright. Wisdom 9, Spell Penetration 4, same as last level. The Heavy Blue is the same. The Epic Brace is the winner, the level 20 version. Now there's not any level version higher than this. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this to tier 3. But the ingredients that you need to upgrade to tier 2 and 3 come from a minimum level 21 challenge. So I won't be able to upgrade that to tier 2 and tier 3 until next level, and that'll actually give it 2 slots, which would be really nice. This is a new ring, Ice Lore 15, Glaciation 95 with Insightful Magical Sheltering 9. Pretty nice ring for me. I was pretty happy to find that in the auction house. I think this is the same as... No, this might be new. Speed 8, Sheltering 16. Yeah, because I think I had Sheltering on the necklace before, and I changed things out. Finally got rid of Mold Fist. I think I might have got rid of that last level, but... Wizardry 154, Healing Amp 34. This is the same ring that I've been wearing for a while. The belt is new, so this has got Spell Resistance 40 on it. And that's pretty good for level 20. I mean, especially right now I'm still running Heroic content. I'm still running Elite 18s. And then I got to work through Elite 19s. So 40 Spell Resistance is pretty serious. Epic Cloak of Flames. So higher combustion, higher fire lore, up to heightened awareness 4. That doesn't stack with parrying or riposte. That insight bonus to AC. It's worth mentioning because I do have a riposte item. So just like the Braces of the Wind, this will have 2 tiers that I can upgrade it at next level. Still got the Shamanic Fetish. And the necklace is now Constitution 8, False Life 27. I have a Diamond of Intelligence plus 4 in there just because I found it cheap on the auction house. Intelligence will help the spellcraft skill. So it gives me basically 2 more spell power to most of my damage types. I still got the Pansopic Circlet. Still using Wall of Wood. And I think the Scimitar is new, so it's got Repose 4 on it, so it's a +4 insight bonus to AC. Doesn't stack with the Cloak of Flames, but Riposte is also +4 insight bonus to save, so that's why that's there. As I mentioned before, the weapon slot for me is kind of a throwaway slot, so I like the bonus to AC. That's why I have the Riposte. That's really what that's about. I don't really care about doing melee damage. You know, sometimes the caster stick will make more sense, but just use whatever works. Let's look at the quest progress. So since being level 20, I've really just done the Inspired Quarter quests. I Dream of Jeets, Finding the Path, Dream Conspiracy, and Shipwreck Spy. No sweat. I thought I might have a little bit of trouble with finding the path just due to lack of resources, but I was able to do it alright. If I sound tired or groggy, it's because it's the beginning of my day. Let's just go ahead and jump down. That's where you come in if you went in the front door. And let's just aggro everything because it's more fun that way. So we do the wild shot. Can't even tell how much damage it's doing and all the other AoEs there. Champion Inspired Sorcerer's gotta go. That was just all the SLAs I hit him with. Just hitting these guys with Great Creeping Cold. There's plenty of shrines in this quest, so I could be a little bit more generous with the mana usage. Little chest down here. Very small chest. You want to stay on top of your stat damage in these quests. There's a lot of mobs that are going to drain your charisma. Is healing himself really well. There's some interesting loot that can come out of this quest. Some of it's still relevant today. I don't have all the Fruit Loops to be able to get the extra chest. But there's nothing I want for this toon. Hitting the Cold Spray and then Greater Creeping Cold. Champ chest. Alright, let's go back and use that shrine. What? Where did you come from? So he's an archer. I just hit him with all the SLAs that don't have a save. So, you know, Creeping Cold, Produce Flame, and Word of Balance. It's also worth mentioning that when I changed out that necklace, you know, that necklace had Evocation Focus 3. So I lost 3 to my Evocation, but I picked up greater Evocation Focus feats, so that's 1 more. So it's a net loss of 2 from before. My Earthquake DC is at a 36, which is, that's fine for this point. This guy's a champion, so we're gonna Cold Spray him. Or is it Freezing Spray? Freezing Spray, and then both the Creeping Colds. Now we'll throw in some SLAs too, just to be safe. We don't need any champion casters trying to ruin our fun. All the SLAs. Creeping Cold, Greater Creeping Cold, Creeping Cold. How about a Call Lightning? How about a Produce Flame? How about I Blind You? Oh, he actually survived the casting of Creeping Cold and Greater Creeping Cold. It's crazy. Creeping Colds are great against archers because there's no save. Let's go ahead and throw the Sleet Storm 2. These cold Dream Scourges here are going to be healed by cold spells, so I'll just take care of them after everything else is dead. Drag them out of the Ice Storm. There's the Wild Shot, 472. I think that hits multiple mobs though. Let's see what it says. Roll 9 daggers in a wide arc in front of you. Each deals 15 d20. Ooh, I'm getting a little low on the mana. Use the SLA. Storm of Vengeance, nice and cheap. SLA of Sunburst, blind them, but just let it do its thing. Let's do a wild shot. I can't tell if it hit multiple mobs. Oh, let's just go ahead and take out this guy too before we shrine. Stay on top of your stat damage. It's a funny little thing out here in the Inspired Quarter. You know, the Inspired, they're infected by the Quarry. Which are like these dream creatures or whatever. I don't know much about the lore, so don't quote me on every aspect of what I'm saying. But in DDO, the Quarry are represented by these little, like they look like big ticks that hang out on your head. But you can't see them unless you have True Seeing. So like when you're in the Inspired Quarter in the public zone, if you put True Seeing on, you can see the dream ticks, the Quarry, on top of the Inspired head. And that's not on every NPC in the Inspired Quarter. If you look at the ones that say Inspired, like the guy that's has the group of mobs, the group of NPCs huddled around him, listening to him, you know, he's got the tick, you know, and there's some others in there too. So it's kind of neat that you can see that with True Seeing. Cast a Rubik's Cube on me. Wild shot, 535. So here's the Mindsunder, and the object is to break that, the big crystal back there. And so, a more traditional method would be to have somebody go in there, like a more tanky or self-sufficient kind of a person, or perhaps an evasive kind of a person, and grab as much aggro as possible, and then just drag it out, and just basically take it all the way back to the start if you want. Just the point is to kite it all out, and then everybody else will go in there and break the crystal. Because I don't have two people here, so that's not going to be an option. So I'm just going to go in and do my thing. I'll turn on a fire resist. Drink a greater freeze pot. Can't have any champion casters getting up in our business though. I don't know what that was. Let's go ahead and do a Sleet Storm. I don't remember if the Mindsunder takes cold damage. Stay on top of stat damage. Alright, the boss is dead. Oh, it's immune to cold. That's not cool. What am I gonna do? I don't know. I don't have much mana left. Wild shot? Let's see. Does it take damage from electric? I don't even know what I got. It's gonna take damage from ice storm. A little bit of bludgeoning damage. I could do like, probably takes light damage, but that would cost me a lot of mana to do sunbeam. It's immune to electric. What about fire? Immune to fire. Alignment? I didn't see. Options, options, options. Wild shot. I did a little bit of damage to him. Well, this is a pickle that I didn't expect. We'll throw another, maybe it takes acid damage. Seems like it would. I can't tell. Guess I'll just have to swing my weapon. Maybe I'll swing my teeth at it. It's taking light damage. That would be from my Crown of Summer. I just have to melee it. Maybe I'll give myself a packed presence. Or a packed aptitude of strength so I can do a little bit more DPS. Mobs are blinded. They don't know what time it is. And Wild Shot's doing about 500 to it. That's a good thing I picked that up, huh? I can barely see the numbers. I'm not sure what the sunburst hit for. Well, it looks like I think it said 400 something. So that's cool. I could just use wild shots and sunbursts in between my meleeing. It's fine. I don't ever remember running into this problem on Druid. Maybe I just don't typically solo it or something when I'm on the Druid. Or on Ginger, you know what, I'd probably just dump sunbeams on it and I'd have the mana for that. Let's see what one does. I'm just curious. I can afford to do one. I don't want to hit these other guys though. So 600 damage. It's more than a wild shot. I'm going to toss the Storm of Vengeance just because it's low cost. And it'll, it'll take down these guys around me. Get a better angle so we can see some numbers. So this one Dream Scourge who just went off screen, he's going to be healed by acid. The other one by cold. I could have brought out the wolf maybe. Ooh, I'm cursed and I can't accept healing. Yeah, that's a little scary. Oh, that was freaking ridiculous. Give him a body of the sun. Since both those guys will take fire damage. I don't know what he's doing over there, but we'll just leave him be. So here is where you're going to take your Fruit Loops and stick them in there. I'm talking about the green bag. Yeah, so these things, you need one of all the 4 different colors. And you can also use these shards, crunch them in the Stone of Change to make the Fruit Loops. I don't remember how many of each one. 3, 4, or 5 of each of the shards will crunch into a Fruit Loop here. And then if you put all 4 Fruit Loops in all 4 of the receptacles, then you get the extra chest that drops the name loot. But I'm not going to be doing that today because I don't have that stuff. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about my videos, you can respond on YouTube. If you have questions about the build I'm doing, you can respond in the Druid forum. And if you're on Sarlona, you're welcome to send me a tell.